Ambulances began arriving at the scene and paramedics rushed out to tend to the wounded. Excuse me, would you mind answering a few questions? Minorikawa turned to see a man in a suit approach him, flashing his badge. So a detective with questions for him, huh? How about you answer a few questions for me? Was this an accident or an attack? We still don't know many details. Let me rephrase that for you. This is a major incident, Minorikawa exclaimed. Huh? The detective looked pretty flummoxed. I've been around the block a few times and I know all of your police PR lingo. When you start talking about the details, this is 100% indicative of a major incident. Brushing aside Minorikawa's remark, the detective tried another question. Did you happen to notice anything unusual prior to the explosion? Unusual? Minorikawa thought back to the moments before the minivan blew up. Now that you mention it, I think I heard a cell phone ringtone. The detective tilted his head. A ringtone? No, never mind. Forget that. There's no way the ringtone on someone's phone would be edible through all that. Minorikawa struck at the thought from his own mind as he said it. In all likelihood, he associated the ringtone and the explosion simply because one had happened right before the other. Kano. Large-statured Caucasian man had called out to the detective. Evidently, the detective's name was Kano. Thank you for your cooperation, he said with a bow. And he ran over to the foreigner. Mr. Minorikawa. Minorikawa turned to a female voice behind him. He found Miku standing there. She looked like she'd been crying. Miku, about earlier, I trailed off searching for an apology. It's okay, that doesn't matter right now. Miku looked around the scene. Minorikawa followed her gaze. Something big went down here, he said. I know, she's explaining the explosion. I saw it happen with my own eyes. What? Miku looked around nervously. Are you alright? He asked her. You're not hurt, are you? I'm okay. My ears are still ringing a bit, is all. Good. So what did you see at the time of the explosion? Miku assumed a thoughtful expression. There was this girl who was running toward the minivan. And I think I saw this other Middle Eastern girl suddenly make a dive for her. Then the van just exploded. Wait, hold on, Minorikawa said. So if I'm getting this right, sounds like this Middle Eastern girl saved the girl who was running up to the van? Miku nodded. Just then Minorikawa's phone chimed. He'd received an email. It was from Chiaki. Mr. Mino, are you still working on your copy? He checked his watch. At this point, the 4 o'clock deadline was probably 20 minutes away. Nonetheless, he decided to stay at the bomb scene. He could definitely smell a scoop here. He was sure of it. Even if he couldn't get his 6 pages done by 4, any major scoop should be enough to persuade the loan company. Minorikawa jotted his phone number down and handed it to Miku. I'll make things up to you, he said. Give me a call later. Miku took the scrap of paper puzzled. If you're looking for an Aiki Jujutsu dojo, I know a few. At that, her face lit up. Minorikawa decided to process the scene for clues as he wandered around. He caught sight of Detective Kano. And his Caucasian colleague heading down an alley. He was the one who did it. Okay. What's that I smell? Something pretty damn fishy. They were slipping away for a private conversation. Maybe there's some way you could listen in. Minorikawa hurried into one of the buildings that bordered the alley. He looked around and found public bathroom stairs on the alley side of the building. Hoping beyond hope, he stepped up to the bathroom window. Voices outside, he held his breath and listened. Those international criminals you mentioned? Kano's words were faint, but he could make them out. Minorikawa did a little fist pump. Correct. Roughly 8 hours ago, they infected Maria Osawa with the UO virus. Then they let her loose somewhere in Shibuya. Hold on. By UO you mean? Discussion involved some terms Minorikawa wasn't familiar with. He focused all of his mental energy on what the two were saying. It's a killer virus with a 100% mortality rate once it takes hold. 100%? Minorikawa muttered to himself. Shock caused him to unclench the fist he'd realized he'd made. It wasn't just an interesting conversation. It was monumental. It has an incubation period of 12 hours. Another 4 hours, Maria Osawa goes symptomatic. After that, she'll begin spreading the virus through the city. It's capable of airborne transmission. If we don't administer Kenji Osawa's antiviral before she develops symptoms, yes, everyone in Shibuya is going to die. Minorikawa felt concerns rise all over his body. If they were talking about a virus and a Kenji Osawa, they could only mean that Kenji Osawa. He recalled that Osawa had said earlier about the power balance of the world being at stake. There was no doubt about it. This was a tremendous scoop. Well then, we need to find Maria Osawa and get the antiviral to her as soon as possible. Just calm down, there's more to the story. It's starting to leak out. The door swung open loudly, and someone came barging into the bathroom. Are you serious? It was Yanakishita. Why him again? Why here of all places? Ooh. Ooh, I'm leaking here. Yanagashita was on the verge of hysterics. His voice must have been audible outside. Kino and his companion went to take their discussion elsewhere. They'd just been getting to the good part. You son of a bitch! Enraged Minorikawa grabbed Yanagashita and tossed him to the floor. I'm leaking! Shut your mouth. He put all of his strength into an ankle hold and gave it a good twist. Professional wrestling technique that involves grabbing the opponent by the ankle. Being caught up like this can be extremely painful. It also puts a lot of pressure on the lower body. If you're already fighting the urge to urinate, well... Yanagashita wailed. Minorikawa let the idiot blubbering in the bathroom and hurried out of the building. He hadn't heard the whole discussion, but he had a scoop on his hands anyway. This would be a tremendous score for Heaven Publishing, even enough to let the company rebuild. He was certain of it, and if I'm the one saying it, it's gotta be true. As he ran along, Minorikawa tried to plan his next steps. First, he had to get back to the editing office to explain the situation to the people from the loan company. Then he'd go find that paperwork for Osawa and have Chiaki check his copy. And after that, okay, so he still had a lot of things he needed to do. He swatted himself on both cheeks to get himself psyched up. His phone rang. It was Chiaki. Mr. Mino, something terrible has happened. Chiaki's voice was a broken yelp. Whoa, come down. Over on Koendori, this minivan exploded. Ah, yeah, I'm well aware. Thanks to that, I've got a big scoop that... Chiaki cut him off. Just now, I got a call from Mr. Tiyama's daughter, Hana. This time when Minorikawa waited for her to finish, she had a sinking feeling. She said that Mr. Tiyama wasn't there. It was a suicide. Excuse me? Minorikawa's knees buckled. Tell me you're joking. No, I mean, the van explosion is all over the news. Anna was in tears on the phone and... Mr. Mino? Mr. Mino, are you still there? Tiyama had... killed himself? Minorikawa felt the energy drained from his body. You gotta be kidding me. What the hell's happening?